Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the June 25th, 2021 edition of News from the Frontlines, brought to you by DW Huff Consulting. Okay, so for this week, News from the Frontlines here, we kind of go back to a couple of discussions we've had with some clients. Actually, before we get that, let's have our fun with numbers here. So 19 is our fun with numbers number of the week. And I don't know if you guys have been seeing Hasbulla on Facebook and Instagram and those things, but this guy's cracking me up, man. But as most people thought he was a kid, it turns out the kid's really a 19-year-old guy with dwarfism, and his opponent there is roughly the same age. So hopefully we'll have some more fun with numbers when we see how much money they make off this fight that they're kind of hyping up here. But we'll see. So I know they catch some flack back in their home country there. Out in the Russian area, and there's a chance that the fight might not happen. We'll see. But anyway, the YouTube stuff is really funny, and these guys crack me up. If you haven't already seen him, Hasbulla, Magadov, something. But you'll see him. He's all over the place now. But so our news. So not a whole lot's changed. We definitely know we're going to be seeing some tax increases. There was some posts a while back giving some examples of, I guess where these tax burdens are really going to fall, and they used an example with President Biden and Kamala Harris's tax returns, and they had some pretty modest increases. So, so we'll see. So there's a lot more that's to be determined yet as far as tax increases, and we'll keep you posted on that stuff, but we don't really know too much as far as specifics at this point. But other things that have come up in client discussions that you might find interesting, just 3 points. So every week we're talking to people and we're answering questions, and the topic of savings comes up. So we are seeing some people getting pretty decent refunds, and with this child tax credit coming up, there's a few things going on where people find themselves in some cases having a little bit more money to save. And just want to reiterate that if your income is such that you qualify, the Roth IRA is a weapon of choice. So, money goes in without any kind of tax breaks. You don't get a tax deduction for contributions, but the earnings and dividends, interest, all those kind of capital gains, all those things that take place inside of an investment account that make it grow, are not taxed while they're being reinvested inside the Roth IRA. And when you take them out, assuming you meet all the other rules with the age and the holding period, etc., will come out tax-free. So we like that. In addition to, the more obvious advantage is also because there's a certain amount of flexibility. So the discussion we had with a client recently, he's got a workplace 401k. Money's going into that every paycheck, and there's a match and everything else. But sometimes it's tough to get money out of a 401k. So when an emergency happens and you find yourself in a situation where maybe your savings is depleted and you're just reaching every way you can to pull some money out, 401ks, it's a trust. It's managed by a workplace third-party administrator, and sometimes going to them and saying I need $5,000 for an emergency isn't possible because of the way those rules are written. But the things that you manage yourself, Roth IRA being one, traditional IRA being another, those things are usually much easier. Now, you in some cases you may have to deal with a tax hit and maybe even a penalty, but when you're in a jam and you got to get money, those things are much easier to pull money out of. So, in particular, the Roth IRA is the thing that we really like. So, contact us if you have more questions about that. But absolutely is something you want to consider if you don't already have one. We talked last time, which is actually 2 weeks ago, about the advanced child tax credit. So that's still a go, and it's supposed to be starting in the middle of July here. So, I'll be on the lookout there. However, the IRS does have information on their website where you can go type in your information and see how much you're going to be receiving, as well as opt out of it. So there are some cases where if in a case maybe where you're a divorced person and maybe you're alternating claiming your children on each year's turn. So there's reasons why you might not want to receive the advance credit, because this credit, keep in mind, it's an advance, but when you file next year's tax return, if it turns out that you should not have received it, there is going to be a recapture of this credit. So this is not going to be as favorable as some of the other, COVID-related credits that you may have seen. So there's an option on the IRS website to opt out of it. So if this 2021 year is the year when your ex-spouse is going to be claiming the dependency exemptions, and she's or he is going to be the one who would really receive the credit. So you would probably want to not receive it because they're just going to get it back from when you file next year's tax return. So just be advised of that. But the IRS does have a portal section on their website where you can log in and check on those things. So if you need that information, you hadn't already seen it, give us an email and we'll get it to you. Also, IRS refund. So we've had a number of people call over the past week. They're going on to irs.gov and checking on the status, and it's you can see the return is filed and there's no real update for no good reason. Some people have some oddball reasons, or maybe the advanced the stimulus money may have come in at different amounts, and IRS is in the background kind of reconciling what was reported on a tax return versus what they think happened. In some cases, there's a discrepancy, and it's causing other headaches with the refunds. So the process is moving along, but it is slow. So don't expect it to be as fast as years past if you just recently filed, or in some cases filed 8 weeks ago and still haven't received a refund. So that's just the way it is right now. So in closing, I guess we have another crazy week behind us, and probably another crazy week coming up here. So just remember to, as being in business kind of gets hectic, just remember to keep your focus on the things you can control, do the best you can, and have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.